And we're on. Hi. Hey, Karla.
Hi.
We are so happy to have you here on 123 Conversations with Candice Thomas, and I'm Terri Dean. And we are really, really excited to introduce you to our listeners and viewers. We know you have a lot of nuggets. Karla owns a company called Authentic Web Solutions, and she has a team of amazing women that do amazing things with everything from big medical practices to entrepreneurs. I've had the pleasure of Karla doing a website build for me, and everything was great. Working with your team was amazing. The communication was always spot on. Becky, everyone is just really responsive.
Oh, thank you.
I find that so refreshing, especially when you're working, in the digital space, just kind of coming from my experience in the past. Sometimes people go dark on you, and, you guys have always just been super responsive. Your work is clean and beautiful, and I'm really proud to know you, and I'm really, really proud to have you as a friend.
Oh,
And
thank you.
it really made me so happy a few months ago when I bumped into you at lunch. And I think that kind of what happened there is going to be a big piece of what we're talking about today, which is reconnecting. And I know you've touched my heart as a result of that. And, hopefully we can all pay that forward. And I know you have some great nuggets to share with us in that vein.
Well, thank you for having me today.
Well, thank you, Karla. I'll let you guys talk now.
Yeah, I just want to add to the information for people who don't know Karla. And one of the reasons why we wanted to have her on 123 Conversations is the purpose of our show is to just bring voices that can help people, especially right now, to reconnect. Ironically, like that's also our whole deal too. But also when I talked with Karla, I was blown away when we had a conversation, because many women I talk to are solopreneurs, or they have like assistants here or there that help them with things. And Karla built a whole freaking company. She's the real deal. And she actually helps people, her clients, get results, which we all like results, right? But she lives her truth, walks her talk. And it's like now more than ever, because her genius is in helping people get more clients, more exposure in an authentic and aligned way, whether it's not just website stuff or solutions. It's like, here's how you get results. It's like, oh man, Karla, we need you to talk with us and talk with our audience about things. So we're super, super duper happy to have you here, Karla. Thank you for taking the time. And let's just jump into it. Let's talk about reconnecting, which when you were telling us, you were saying that you felt like reconnection is kind of the key to mental health, emotional health, business health. And so I want to know from you, first question in our 123 Conversations is, can you tell us why or what has happened in your life that has proved that to be true? Like, why for you has reconnection been important?
Great question. So reconnection for me, especially over the last 8 months, has really been a place where I needed to get reconnected. Because back in March, I kind of went through this period of burnout. Like I was taking care of everybody else, taking care of my business, making sure my business was healthy, and I wasn't taking care of myself. And so I really had to reconnect with myself in that way. So self-care was a huge part of that journey as far as incorporating that into my day-to-day, which I schedule now. But the other piece of it is realizing here in like the last 2-3 months that I was not connecting with the people that I loved in my little world. And, Fem City and some of these other organizations that I, am involved in, I wasn't doing the outreach and nobody was outreaching to me. And I think that is detrimental to our mental health. Like, I know for me, like, I was like, oh, I haven't heard from this person or that person. I'm like, what's wrong? Like, and then, you have to kind of refocus and like, okay, they've got stuff going on. I've got stuff going on. So finally, I just made a very intentional decision to be that person who's reaching out. And so every day I'm reaching out to someone who I haven't talked to in a while, that I need to reconnect with, someone new. So I'm always like just connecting. Like it's important for all aspects of our life, and especially business. Like you're not gonna, my business was built off of word of mouth. And when I looked back and like realized, hey, that's how I built my business, I'm like, how do I pivot in this space to continue to grow my business? Because it kind of went, stagnant for a while. And so it's amazing what or who comes out of the woodwork when you start getting out there and connecting. So
it's true. And you're making some really good points, Karla, and it has me thinking about sometimes it's hard for us to reach out when we're in that place where we're not connecting with ourselves first, and like connecting with our bodies and connecting with what we're putting in our bodies. And so for me, I find myself feeling really ungrounded when like I'm not walking or I'm not eating good food or whatever. And it's harder for us to reach out when we're not there ourselves. And that's just a super normal thing, I think, that everyone goes through. I mean, God, I go through it, but it's so great that you are really being intentional about putting the energy. Not only did you have you taken the time to start really, you mentioned the self-care. So you started really taking good care of yourself, and it puts you in a better position then to go, I can care for myself so I can care for others. Because it's like if we can't care for ourselves or we can't love ourselves, then it makes it really hard for us to love and care for the people around us. So I'm so happy that you're talking about this topic, because I think it's critical. And just like you guys, the things you mentioned early on about, we need to, I have it written down. Let me look, because I lost my train of thought, for our mental, emotional, and business health.
Yeah.
Staying connected and reconnected. So yeah.
It's so important. Yeah. And it's a practice. It's not like this comes easy for me. I am that person who will move mountains for people.
Right.
But I'm the last person that I move a mountain for. And it got to the point, like even now I'm still, I struggle with it. It's not like it happens overnight. It's small steps that you have to take to take care of yourself. And so, it's definitely needed. And anybody out there that is thinking like, I need to take care of myself, a walk is, my partner will say, yeah, you need to go out and walk with me right now.
And what I love is I'm really witnessing you do these things. You're not just talking about them, you're doing them. I know you're going to the park and you're doing fitness training. You mentioned to me getting ready to run a marathon next year. That
nothing like putting it out there, right?
Like that's it's no small feat. And I think it's like if you give yourself that goal, it gives you more of a reason to get up and take that walk, because you go, well, I don't want to die at, my 21-mile marker, because I haven't been, it's just like you said, practice. Practice. You can't just go run a marathon out of the blue unless you're some kind of Wonder Woman. And I actually, I actually know someone that has done that, but I can't imagine how that must feel afterwards or during. Horrible.
Someone who's run a marathon, or someone who's dropped dead at the 21-mile marker?
No, people who have ran. Well, Karla's actually.
Oh, okay. I'm like, no. It's probably both, because you know everyone and do everything.
And this stuff, for most people, it's not just so ingrained, that discipline, because there's shiny things all over the place and there's many distractions. And wouldn't you rather go, to dinner and have cocktails, which right now we can't do, but with your friends, then go, nope, I need to go work out tonight. So you really just get yourself in that frame of mind where that's your priority. And that beyond that, then all good things can happen when you're taking care of yourself first.
And one of the ways that I've been able to ground in self-care, I found out the other day, was playing video games. Like I need to play. I hadn't played a video game in like a couple months, and I was just unraveling. And then I played like an old game. It's a longer role-playing game. It came out like years ago, and then everything just got easier. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm centered in on myself again. So I appreciate all you people helping and running marathons and practicing and training. And also, I just want to give a shout out to my gamers, book readers, like whatever is your way for self-care and centering and grounding and connecting, do it.
Right.
And so, Karla, I have so many questions. When you talk about intentionally reaching out to people how do you know what people to reach out to? Like, do you have a plan for that? Is it more intuitive? Like, who are you reaching out to, and what are you saying to them when you're connecting?
So part of it is intuition. Usually, like, if someone pops in my head, I'm supposed to talk to them. Like, I need to pick up the phone and reach out and just say, hey, I was thinking about you. Like, that for me is a true sign that I need to be connecting more. But the other thing is just getting more involved in the groups that I'm in, like, so Fem City, I started posting in there because I'm like, it's crickets, and I want to hear from the people that, like, I miss our lunches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is one of the ways I'm able to fill up my bucket is
Right.
by being in community with, other women in that networking, like that very casual networking kind of arrangement. And I was like, I haven't heard from anybody, so let me see what happens if I post something out there. So, it's just taking action is the intuition, taking action. Like, when you get that little nagging about, oh, I haven't heard from that person, or why haven't I heard from that person? It's like an indication, like, you should reach out and find out what's going on in their world.
Right.
We can't make assumptions about where everybody else is at. And, their problems are just as, valid as mine. It's all relative to the person. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
I
always feel
love
like
that.
it'll work if you work it, If we all
Yep.
sit there and just go, well, I'm waiting for somebody to call me, nothing, we can't. And I think we expect a lot out of people. So I just kind of don't expect a ton, but yeah, it's like, no, we have to be proactive. So that's a huge, important point. And I love seeing you weigh in on the page, our private networking group page. You always have something witty and wise to share.
I shake it up in there.
You do. You're doing it. You're shaking it up, and I love it. So thank
But
you.
I don't want to overwhelm everybody either. Like, oh, I'm coming in here and this person.
No, I think I really like. I'm just going to say it again real quick. I really want you to explore the leadership role within Fem City, and just throw your name in the hat because you have so much to offer in the way of education. And I think you're a natural born teacher, and I think that we would all be the benefactors of your wisdom. So do it, and I think it'd be really fun for you too.
I mean, those are facts on facts on facts. And I also love what you said, where a lot of people, especially if they're business owners and they're feeling a little bit lost because they know they need to pivot, and it's the idea of reconnecting. And what you said is, oh, and also the groups that I'm already in and a part of, because a lot of us are already a part of social networks. Not everyone, but I mean, I'm assuming if someone's watching us, they're either in Fem City or they're watching us on YouTube or through some of our other things that we'll establish a little bit later on. So you are a part of something somewhere. And what would happen if you would connect? And even in, that just reminds me of programs I participated in where it was a group training for something, learning how to do something, reaching out to the other people who are in the training, not to sell them things, but just to genuinely be like, oh, what you posted was so interesting. Tell me more about you and what's up, what's going on. And that has led me to opportunities that I wouldn't have had if I had just, stuck to myself and it's just me in here learning whatever, like everyone's a stranger to me. I had to take the initiative to connect with folks a lot of times.
Yeah, so. I for me, like when I go, like one of the things I found when we were kind of going online for everything, the virtual network was kind of falling flat for me because it was like going to a chamber meeting.
Right.
Like passing a business card, but there was no real action behind it. So, my intention from like going to a virtual networking kind of activity was, okay, one person that I resonated with, I need to reach out to them afterwards just to make a connection. Mm-hmm. And you don't know what's going to happen, and it could be you're just having a casual conversation and talking about your grandkids, but that could lead to so many other things. Like the conversations I'm having right now with new people, I'm seeing how I can support them in their business and how they potentially can support me. And I see that there's so much potential, especially in the Fem City group, for us to support each other, but I don't see that. And so that's where like, I want to be more involved because, and I asked that question, like, what is one thing you need help with? Like, because
Right.
there's got to be someone in this group that can connect you. And I connected a couple people already
Right.
to different resources or opportunities that I came across. So you just, if you're not out there connecting, then you are not resonating. You are not top of mind. And so that visibility is, like, if I were to put a word to it, visibility and reconnecting is what
Right.
you need to be doing right now.
Right. What was I going to say a lot? Oh, and I think for me personally, I know this is about Karla, but for me personally, it's like I do my best to operate from a mindset of what can I do to serve? How can I serve? And when I show up, I'm not like necessarily coming in with the intention of, oh, what can I get? What can I get? What can I get out of you? What can I get out of you? I walk in the room and I'm like, oh, she seems interesting. I should introduce her to so-and-so. Or,
You
oh
are
my
a great
God, here's a great
connector.
media opportunity over here for this one. And, you know, I know Candice and I have talked about this, and it's like, send the email intro, like, just do it. Operating from a place of service is a game changer. And if nothing else, it's going to do your heart good. And at the end of the day, your head can hit the pillow and you know that you have given it all that you have to give. And I believe that we get back what we put out. So I feel a full life and I feel a lot of gratitude. So, and we are in that neat place with a group like FemCity or maybe some of the other organizations that you're in, where how can we support each other and lift each other up? There's plenty for everyone. It's an abundant universe, and you know, more for you doesn't mean less for me. So let's just have fun with this life that we have been gifted and really move from that place of heart and offering and service.
I'm curious if you've had any weird experiences through reaching out to folks or reconnecting, because I feel like sometimes people get afraid, like, oh, I haven't talked to so-and-so in 4 years. It's going to be weird if I reach out to them now. Like, what have been your experiences, if you've even had experiences like that? I don't know if you've had reach outs to someone where there's been that big of a gap in time, but what's that been like?
Oh, stalkerish. So I will. Now I'm going to give away all my secrets, but whatever.
Tell us.
It's not really a secret. So, you know, if I haven't been engaged with someone in a long time, like people that I worked with 10 years ago come into my network. Mm-hmm. And usually it's because I've commented on something, I've congratulated them on something, you know, I like something, and it's like, you know, that little trigger, you know, Facebook mm-hmm. and LinkedIn. People are looking. And so that's one way, you know, so, and with someone new, like there was this podcast host that I was just in awe of, and I wanted to work with her. And so we became friends on Facebook. She befriends everybody. And she had put a post out there about looking for help. She needed help. Her business during this time has, you know, just gone tanked. And I'm like, okay, I can help this person. So I started reaching out and bantering online, and, you know, now she's one of our clients. And so you just never know, like, you know, somebody who seems not attainable or not approachable, you know, meet them where they're at and just come at it from your own perspective. Like I ended up in her improv classes, which has been the most brilliant experience that I've had during this time. Learning.
I want to know about that.
And it's not improv in the sense of getting on a stage and, you know, something funny happens. It's like improv, learning the tenets of improv. And I take that now into my online virtual stuff, you know, because
cool.
Yeah, it's been so much fun. So you just never know what will happen and what experiences you're going to end up with.
Do you have performances as an improv group? Like, do you guys
No, I'm not that
do
good.
a showcase?
I can do yes and I can make you look good, but that's about it.
Improv is, when I first became a business owner and I had a business coach, they had told me to take improv. And instead I just went to regular acting because improv was too stressful. So I took an acting class instead of improv. But I can understand, because you have to like flow with it. You have to get out of your head and like commit to things with improv.
Well,
so I've been looking at it again, but I haven't gotten into,
girl,
I came so close. I came like in May, this close to signing up for an improv class, like this close. And then here it is. It was like universe, no coincidences, synchronicity.
Knock
Like
on the shoulder, Candice. I think Karla can hook you up with someone.
Yeah.
Another thing that popped in, Karla, when you were talking about just all the reaching out and just getting out of our comfort zone and stuff. Candice does this exercise, and I think we talked about it when Tayloria was on, but she's done this with me over the years when she was my coach. And it'll be like, what's the worst thing that can happen? What's the worst thing that can happen? What, and then she just takes you down this place where I'm like, just stop already. And she goes, what's the worst thing that can happen? Nothing. Like, I'm not going to die if I drop you a note or pick up the phone to call you and you don't call me back. I'll keep moving. It'll be okay. So it's not going to kill us to get uncomfortable.
Right.
And just like Karla says, there's magic to be had, in many instances on the other end of the line. So it's a good reminder.
Yeah. So that's amazing. Is there anything else that you want to share with the folks who are watching? Anything on your heart that you would like to add that we might have missed?
I think just putting an invitation out there, like reach out to somebody, one person. You don't know what difference you're going to make in their life, but more importantly, how it's going to impact yours. Because I will tell you, the down days that I've had over the course of the last couple of months, reaching out to someone or having someone reach out to me has made just flip my day upside down, and your mood improves. So I think mentally it's just a good practice to get out there and talk to someone, even if it is about the weather or whatever. So
you just inspired me to send 5 cards today. So I've added that to my list of things to do, because I've been kind of flirting with that the last couple of days. I haven't sent cards for a couple of weeks, but
and cards are the best way.
Thank you for that reminder.
Yeah. Plug. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
You'll probably find something in your mailbox. So, no, it's fun, and it shifts the energy, and it feels great. And it's November. It's gratitude month anyway. So just know what you're thankful for. Tell them why you're grateful for their presence in your life. So I love it. These are great reminders, Karla.
How can people find you if they want to know more about your business or to connect with you? What's the best way for people to get in touch?
Go to my website at authenticwebsolutions.com. You can learn all kinds of stuff about our business, and there's plenty of call to actions on there to get in touch and schedule. I actually have my Calendly on there, so if you want to hop on a 30-minute connect call, then feel free to do that, and would love to connect.
I love it.
Great. All right, awesome. And so Terri, same thing for you. How do people get a hold of you if they want to connect?
Probably the easiest way is LinkedIn, just my first name, last, Terri, Terri, last name Dean, Dean. Or you can find me on any of the FemCity sites if you're watching this through FemCity. And pretty quick and easy. And you, Candice, how can we find you?
My website's CandiceThomasIntuitive.com, but I'm also on FemThings, the Fem site, Fem Facebook pages, all that stuff. Easiest way to get a hold of me is through any of those. It's and also on Instagram at Candice Intuitive. You can also connect with me there. I just figured out, if you don't follow me on Instagram, but you send me a DM, I wasn't seeing them because I'm old and I don't understand things. But I figured that out. So if you send me DMs,
you're not old.
You get to the DM.
You understand things.
It takes me a minute. But you can slide into my DMs on Instagram, and I'll respond to you there, because I figured it might take me a minute to realize that stuff is there, but that's another way to connect with me as well. So.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, and thank you, Karla and Terri, for another great show. We'll be back next week.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.